Hey everyone, I'm in Need for Speed Unbound, and here I'm going to show you how to edit paint and wrap of your rides. So you do this when you're in a safe house. So we're here in the area here, and jump into rides by pressing A or whatever it is on your platform and jump into style. And then when you're here, you've got paint and wrap. What I'm going to do now is just jump into this area. I'm going to get rid of my little camera for a little bit, and we're going to talk about this so my face isn't in the way as we're talking. Right, so what we can do here, let's just have a little look at this. This was a wrap that I did, and I picked the colour of it, and this is using a variety of different things. So you can see it's quite a cool look to this car, and we're going to try and replicate it. I'll try and remember and do something similar to it. I may not get it quite perfect, but by the end of it you should have a good idea how the wrap system works and the paint system. Right, so I'll just hit B to go back. If it's different buttons for you, they should show down the bottom left of your interface. So what we're going to do here is remove this wrap. So I'll press A and remove the wrap. Now don't worry, that doesn't lose it. Your saved paint and wraps will appear in the library. As long as you've saved it decently in the first place, it should show in there. So you can see I've got two different wraps here that I could use. Anyway, let's go and sort this wrap out. So I'll go paint and wrap, edit wrap, and now I'm going to paint it first. So paint is pretty simple. You can go with a colour or you can go with different materials here. So let's go between them. So LB and RB goes between these different things. So if we go with just colour first, if you just want a boring standard colour, which is all I picked for the one I did, I can't remember what green it was, you can go with one of these and you'll see it on the car, and then you can just sort of pick one that suits. Your other option, if you want, is you can go with any of these sort of more interesting chromified paints or metallic paints, that sort of stuff, or a carbon look. It's just up to you whether you want, this sort of look here. So I'll go with the Chameleon Flake. That's the style, and then you can see that you can adjust this, or rather, this sort of takes into account the colour that you pick with it as well, and it'll sort of move around. So you can see that's quite an interesting look that we've got there. So maybe I need a bit of a brighter colour, like so. And then if you're not too keen on that, you can just have a little look through and see whether anything else suits. So whether you prefer a different look, maybe like the colour shift or the carbon, maybe just a metallic actually. Let's go with a metallic, that looks pretty cool. So I'll just have a quick look at those colours again, just see whether I prefer a different green. Maybe that green, that's quite nice. So when you've done that, just hit back and it'll say, do you want to apply or discard it? And in my case, I want to apply it, so I'm going to hit A. So we've got the core paint done on the car, and you can check whether you're happy with that or you're not. You could again hit the right button of your sort of right stick, the button on top, and then you can move around and have a little look and check you're happy with the colours that you've got on the car, which you may or you may not be happy with. That's up to you. To come back out of this mode, just hit the B button or the circle if you're on the PlayStation, and then we're going to move down with the left stick to wrap and have a little look at this. So you can move around the car, and each car will have certain places that you can edit. So for example, on this Mustang, I can't edit the bonnet, which is a bit of a shame. That stays as the black colour, but I can mess around with the top, the sides, the windows, the front and the back. There's not much we can do on the front, but we can do a little bit. The main thing you're probably going to want to mess around with though is the right and the left side, and what's cool is you can mirror right and left quite easily. So we're going to edit the right side here. So I'm going to press A, and then you can see I've got these options down the bottom that says add decal, delete decal, mirror decal, and more controls. So if I hit the add, what we then have access to are all of these different decals so that you can cycle through kind of major categories. If you look up the top on the bar, can you see that there's a little sort of logo that lights up white, and this shows you the main category, and then if you move down you can move between all of these different things in here. So you've got some boring shapes here, and as you go across you'll come up with more and more interesting things. So logos and all kinds of weird and wonderful stuff like this. As we go through, we'll get more and more interesting stuff. So for example, one of the things I chucked on the top of my car was that logo. Now what I quite like messing around with designs is to use patterns and then enlarge these. So I think it was on this one, or it might be on this one. Let me see, I think it's this one. So we're just going to go across and find a pattern. Now the pattern I quite liked for the car that I did was a kind of circuit board look, which I think was probably that one. So I'm going to use that, and you'll see it comes in on the car. It's kind of hard to see to begin with because of the colour. It's at default white. So down the bottom you see it says change colour Y. That would be triangle on the PlayStation. You could try a different color, whatever color you like. I'm going to pick black. So once you've selected that, hit back. And you can see it's quite hard to see until it's applied on the car. So what I'm now going to do is rotate this around. So you can rotate the decal with LB/RB. So if you look on the right hand side, it shows you that. And then the rotation will show up on the left. So I'm going to rotate it this way. And then just see how this looks on the car as I increase the size. You can scale the decal with up on your D-pad. So you can just move this up to where you think will look good on the car. And just keep working on the scale until you're happy with it. And see what sort of area you think looks quite nice with it. So that looks quite interesting to me. I'm just going to move that so it's more straight, so 270 degrees. Looks about right to me, and it's not applied yet, so it'll sometimes flash, but if you're happy with the position of it, just press A and it will be applied to the car. Now on the left hand side we then have these layers up here, so it's going, okay, you've got one layer. Now if you want to mirror that decal, you can do simply by hitting RB. So if we go over to the other side here, you can see there's nothing on there, but if I hit that RB button, it's applied to the other side, so we've got two sides of the car now done, which is pretty cool. So if we now want to add another decal, we can just hit X or whatever the button shows down the bottom. That would be square on the PlayStation, and then you can work on other graphics here and start working up more interest on your car. So you could go with the same sort of graphic or a different one if you want. I'm going to go with the same, and I'm also going to change the color again with Y and go to that. You can see your most recent colors show up here. So I'm going to go with that black again. Come back out of here, hit A to apply. And then I'm going to rotate it again. I'm going to apply it to the front of the car this time. So we're going to go this way round. Probably go to 90-degree rotation. So I'm using LB and RB for that. And then I'm increasing the size with up on my D-pad. And then just moving this around until I see somewhere that's nice on the car. So you can hide the UI just while you're placing things, just to make life a bit easier. You just press the right stick for that. And just move it until you're quite happy with where that is being applied on the car. For this one, you may want to move to the top here and just check that it's sort of applying to the front of the car across the sort of lip of the I don't know what it is around the light. So it's sort of moving nicely. So I've just done it like that. That looks quite nice to me. I'll just double check that color because I've not got it on the right color. So I want it to be black as well. So we'll apply that. And then I'm just looking to see whether I like that, because the trouble is it's sort of going in across that boss line, which is maybe not quite going to work. So maybe like there, that looks quite nice. So I'm going to go with that. And when I'm happy with that, oh, hang on, let's just go there. Yeah, that looks good. Press A to apply again. So you can see we're getting quite a nice look there. Again, we could mirror the decal with B, and then we've got them both applied to the car. Now, if you make a mistake with any of these, you can delete the decal. That's not a problem. So you just select it on the layers using your up and your your left stick up and down, and then you can adjust that decal as you go. So if you want to add some other different ones, you can also do that as well. So let's go for a different one, and we'll go for some sort of logo. So I put Rydell's Rides on mine, which is one of the in-game places, or rather the main place. So you could apply this. I had this quite small down the bottom right here. So what I'm going to do is change the color again. I'm still going to stick with the black, but again, you're welcome to pick any color you like. So we'll go with that, and then I'm going to scale it down, so down on my D-pad, and then just so it's just nice and small here, like so. Maybe a little bit bigger. And sometimes it's a bit fiddly. You've got to be quite gentle with the left stick to get it quite where you want it. That looks good. So when you're happy with it, again, select, and then it'll be applied, and then mirror the decal with RB or R1 on the PlayStation. And again, you can see that's then been added to the car. Another thing I did, I think I put another sort of decal on here. So we'll add another one. So we'll go here again. I'll just have a little look through and see if I can remember what on earth I put on my car as well on the side. I think I did some sort of Japanese type text, or maybe it was just some symbols. Just trying to think there. But you get the idea. You know, you can just build this up over time. I can't remember which one it was. Maybe it was on that other one. Just flicking through. I did see some quickly on here, which maybe it was that, but I thought it was more symbols that I used before. But they would probably look quite cool anyway. Let's just see. None of these. You see there's loads and loads of different designs. That looks quite interesting. I'm going to use that. So you can apply this wherever you want on the car. Again, here we'll change the color. You're probably getting quite used to this. And then we're going to flick, whoops, to a different side of the car. So we could put that there, apply the decal, mirror the decal. And what about if we wanted to change though to a different area? So on the roof here, so how do we do that? When you're happy with this, you can just hit back and you will come out of the right side here. So again, everything is available that you can move around it. But let's go to the top. So I've moved it, the left stick to the top, add decal, and I'm going to go with this one here. So we'll apply that and right stick to move so we can see where this decal is going to go. And I'm using up to scale it up. I don't think there's an easy way of kind of centering things. There is access to more controls by holding left trigger, and you can see we can stretch the vertical, stretch the horizontal on the right hand side, but I don't think that's really that useful. You can go fine controls by holding right trigger, and that just, I think that just moves things slightly slower for you. So we could go with that, and if we want to change the color, Y, and then go and pick our usual black for this particular design, and then back again. And that's looking pretty cool. That's pretty similar to the car that I designed before. So you can see you can knock up designs quite quickly and no problem with it. So once you're happy with it, you just hit back again, and hit back again, and your wrap is there and you are all good. So your car is now good. So we hide the UI. You can see it very similar to design to what we had before. I've just noticed that logo is just a touch low. So again, what's cool with this is you can always go back into it and adjust it. So we can say, actually, I just need to tweak that side. So I can go find the layer. I can either delete it or I can just select it and just scale it just a touch. And maybe the fine controls. Let's see if that does enable me to move it a bit slower. So that's quite cool, holding down that right trigger just so I can move it exactly where I want it. That's cool. And then back again, and we're good. And again, we can hide the UI. But you can see, can you see that I need to sort out that one on the left? So we're just going to do that. Let's jump back into the design again. So right button on there again, adjust the wrap. Let's flick round. So the left side, got to edit that. And because of that mirror going wrong, we need to delete this one. So I'll hit Y to delete the decal. And then I'll back out of here and go and edit the right side A. Select that decal and then mirror it. So it's now been mirrored to the other side. So it's quite cool that you can kind of mirror the work, but you may want a different logo on there if you want. But you can see now that's fixed the same as that one there. We've got the different color paint. Also quite cool is if you decide, actually, I want to use a different color on the car, you don't lose the wrap work. You can go back into there and have a little look at different colors and see how they affect the car like so. You could also go with different materials and just pick whatever material you like the look of. So that iridescent, I don't think does quite work with this, does it? So we could back out of here and discard those changes just so we keep our car as it was. That is it, my friends. So there is the car. I hope that was useful to you. Let me put my camera back on and say hello again. If you did find that useful, I would love a thumbs up, please. That's much appreciated. Any comments welcome. I'm doing some various tutorials on Need for Speed Unbound now. I've got it. So hopefully you like the look of that. Any questions, do hit me up with a comment, or if you need help with any other parts of the game, I'll be working through it over the next few days. Thanks so much for watching.